Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monkeys with Fire. How is everybody today? I hope you're all well. I hope you've been having a good week. Good evening to Roger and Lonor. How are you doing, guys? Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's get this show started. So, what are we doing tonight? We are going to be doing a live unboxing of Ulaya Chronicles Raptor Claw Island from Olmec Games, the makers of the Drowned Earth miniature game. Yep, been looking forward to taking a look at this game. We actually did a interview with the designer James Baldwin, possibly a good year, maybe a year and a half ago. In the before times, before the pandemic. Lots has happened in the meantime, yes? But finally we do have a copy of the game, and I thought it would be a good follow-up because we obviously had that tease and we got to find out a little bit about it with James. It's now opportunity to unbox and take a look. We did paint a dino, yes, of course we did, Rogue, yes, as part of the channel's community challenge. Gosh, that is the before times, isn't it? It does feel over a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years, something like that. Gosh, yes, it is a while, it is a while. So yes, we're going to have an evening of heroes and pirates and ancient technologies and, of course, dinosaurs. It's going to be a great mix, so let's jump straight on in. All right, so here we go. This is Ulaya Chronicles Raptor Claw Island. This is the game box, and you know, considering some of the games that we have seen on the channel, this is actually a relatively small box with a massive game contained within. It's quite surprising how much of a game is in this small box, and I think that's probably one of its major advantages. We talk a lot about skirmish games, and obviously the amount of sort of size they take up with all the miniatures and the scenery and obviously the mats that you have to lay down. It's very surprising that you get exactly the same experience from a game in such a small footprint on the shelf there, easily transported in a backpack, can be taken around to a friend, so already it's a good start. I also like the fact of the box is most definitely a premium box. It has, I think they call it silk screen printing on it. It has this lovely silky feel, very premium, which is great. It's quite heavy. There's a lot of cardboard in here at the moment. But it pretty much goes through, shows us what's inside. So here we go. Shipwrecked in the midst of a post-apocalyptic pirates and hungry dinosaurs, will you survive Raptor Claw Island? Ulaya Chronicles Raptor Claw Island is a campaign-based tabletop wargame set in the world of the Drowned Earth. Played cooperatively or solo, you will be taken on a 10-part branching story, battling against AI-controlled dinosaurs and pirates to uncover the secrets of a mysterious island of ancient technology. Okay, I'm hooked already. That sounds like a good plan for me. So let's jump on in. It's really nice. And I've already, obviously, I've taken a look already. Spoilers. Everything about this game is really well produced. And very much appreciated. So we have a hefty book here, which is the campaign guide. We'll come back to that in a moment. We'll put that there. We then have the rule book. And again, if you have played The Drowned Earth, or if you've seen any of the visuals of the game on the website, you know how wonderful it looks. What do we have in here? We have some bit of foam just to protect things. We have Deck of cards. Another deck of cards. We'll open those up. We got some D10 dice. Some standee holders. We got 2 decks here that tell us do not shuffle this deck. So we'll make sure we we don't do that. And we have another one. Campaign deck A, campaign deck B. Because this game does have a branching storyline. This deck is a special Kickstarter. Sorry the pandemic made us late bonus. Fantastic. It includes profile cards for some of the alternate models that you can use in Ulaya Chronicles. It also contains profile cards for all the standees in this box to be used in the Drowned Earth. On the reverse of this card is a QR code which will take you to a guide to how to play your first game of the Drowned Earth using the components in this box and the profile cards in this deck. Oh, that's cool. There we go. So aware of the unfortunate delays of the pandemic, but hey, there is a bonus for the backers. That's really nice. These look like character cards to me, so we'll take a look at those in a moment. We then do have all of this cardboard. Let's take a look at this before we go to the rules. So what do we have? Plenty of tokens. Maybe for different states within the game. We've got some fire tokens there. We've got a nice handy measurement ruler. And then we have some scenery here. So we've got a bridge. And these look like some forms of technology, computer screens. We'll find out where they go in due course. But this is on nice thick cardboard. Good chunky components, which is great. Lots of scenery here. So we've got various trees, obstacles, line of sight obstacles. We have some of the characters. So we have some character standees. Let's just turn this around. We know that this is one of the heroes here. In fact, we've just seen her. So we have that. Oh. Again, some of these characters I don't want to look too much because it's a campaign. We could be getting a few spoilers here. More scenery. And then we have some dinos. And more state of play tokens. We'll look at these dinos in more detail in a bit. Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. This reminds me of, what was that TV series that had Clint Howard? Is it Clint Howard? Am I right in thinking that? Is it the brother of Ron Howard? Had the bear, basically, but it had those boats. I can't think of the area in America that have these sort of flat boats that go over. Gentle Ben. That's the one. That's the one. What's the name of the area in the US where it was set? Florida Everglades. There we go. So yes, so it's got a great big fan at the back, hasn't it? But this is obviously a militarized version. We seem to have some sort of rocket launcher at the front there, and obviously room for plenty of people. And then down at the bottom here, we have plenty of dinos and pirates and a few more of the heroes. Airboats, is that what they're called? Because it's not a hovercraft, is it? You know. More debris, larger Much larger dinos. Much scarier dinos. Yeah, some of these are starting to get a little bit big, given how small the heroes are by comparison. More technology, more tokens, and another ruler. So we've got plenty of chunky components here. Let's just put those back. So, the one thing that sort of, I suppose it has kind of, sometimes put me off getting into big war games is because they are, well, they're so big. Some of these war games have been going on for many, many years, and of course there are new iterations, and you can possibly jump on in there, but there's so much to learn that sometimes that can be quite a barrier to entry. So skirmish-based games I've actually found to be easier to get into, and Ulaya Chronicles Raptor Claw Island basically condenses a lot of the rules, makes it easier for a new player to basically experience the Drowned Earth and enjoy that type of game, and again can use it as a springboard then to actually play the larger, fuller game. So it's been a while since I played the Drowned Earth. It was a good few sort of years ago now, and I'm going to enjoy playing this. My intention is to be playing this at the weekend and get myself back up to speed, and of course use this as a bit of a beginner's guide back on into the game itself. And I've had a sort of flick through the rule book. It gives us a brief sort of setting so that you understand what the world of the Drowned Earth is all about. As much as they have revealed, there's still many things to be discovered. And then we start, basically, we go through the components that are within the game, just so you can just check off everything, make sure that you have everything, make sure that then you understand the detailings on your profile card or on the enemy card. And then you basically get started, as it says. And it tells you all about dice rolls and how you can generate successes. One thing that I did pick up on when I played the Drowned Earth originally is it has a very dynamic system. It almost feels as if you're playing a skirmish game within an action movie. Characters are moving very fast. It's all very dynamic, and I did really enjoy that aspect of it. So yes, we have passes, we have nailed it, where you do exceptionally well, and of course we have failures. Enemies are able to do an opposed roll whenever you are trying to do an action. They can try to oppose it. Lots of details on that. And then we start working through what is the turn structure. We have the start phase, it then goes to the player phase, the danger phase, the enemy phase, and the cleanup phase, which is pretty quick. So let's just go through that. So during the start phase, you will set up for the new turn, check to see if you have progressed the story by looking at the objective deck. All right. Player phase. In the player phase, your characters each spend action points. Will take actions, and the enemies may react to those actions. That's fair enough. The danger phase. In the danger phase, you may encounter perilous events or progress the story by looking at the heat deck. And then the enemy phase, they have their turn. In the enemy phase, you will draw cards for the enemy and resolve the actions on those cards. You may also react against those actions. So it's the inverse of the player phase. An important point on this game is that the enemies are all AI driven. So this is a skirmish game that you can quite easily play as a single player. And I'm not sure. What about you guys? Do you guys know? Are you familiar with any other skirmish game that is single player? You guys might have a better understanding of the broader landscape. I'm certainly going to find that an advantage for learning how to play the game. Basically, there are 4 heroes in the game, and of course you would distribute those between up to 4 players. But if you are playing solo, then you basically just control the actions of all 4 heroes and just take it in turns, moving them. So it's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say it's like it's kind of a game of chess, isn't it? You against the enemy AI. So more like a dungeon crawler, and they're all player versus AI. Yes, a little bit. Of course, the landscape is much larger and more sort of similar to the skirmish game. So let me just, because I will show you here. I do have it set up on the table. So here we go. So this is the map that comes within the game. Again, it has that silk feeling to it. It is a paper map, but it is of a much denser material. It's one of those materials where it's very hard for you to accidentally rip it, which is really, really good and very much appreciated. There are 2 sides to the map. So this is the one where we can see the river splitting into 2, well, it's obviously in 3 channels, isn't it? Don't jinx myself, yes. There is a reverse to this where we have lots of land and we have the river running straight. And of course, as we play the game, it dictates on what side of the map you want to be. But, you know, again, it's nice that it is a high quality map. As I say, I've seen others in games where it is just thin paper. So it's very much appreciated that there's a little bit more expense, a little bit more premium, because of course it's going to get a lot of wear and tear, isn't it? Okay, so the start phase. This actually seems quite straightforward. Perform any beginning of the start phase instructions. So certain cards have instructions. We've got to perform tasks, so we quickly do those. Gain any action points. 2 per character or controlled NPC. Each character gains 2 action points, which may be spent to perform actions. So this is how you actually do things within the game, and that will be explained within the player phase, I'm sure. Increase your power. Characters use power to perform abilities. If you have unlocked any power tokens, they will begin the scenario on the 0 position. And you move up 1 space per each turn. Okay. It's nice how it actually talks to you as you're reading this. It talks to you as you're learning. So it's great. It's kind of as if somebody was here guiding you through. Shuffle all your action card decks. Okay. And then resolve the start phase effects. So for example, remove smoke templates, resolve bleed tokens, or anything else listed as during the start phase. Alright, so it's a bit of initial admin. Just so you can see on the back here, there is a quick guide to the turn structure. And then plenty of useful symbol references there. So here we go. So we did say that we get 2 action points. So characters can perform actions. So in the player phase, characters can perform actions by spending action points. Players may spend their action points in any order, and it's not necessary to spend all the action points of a single character before moving on to another. In other words, as a group, you can spend action points in any order you like. And this gives you a lot of opportunity for clever tactical play. So, basic actions is movement, shooter's range combat, close combat, and charge, while other actions are rest, interact, recognize, and revive. This all seems, you know, quite standard, isn't it, for a skirmish, or as you say, a sort of dungeon crawler. So, movement. Your character will have a certain movement allowance, and you'll use one action and you will move that amount. I'm just looking here. Does it say here? Move, simply measure the movement distance and move the model. Check for enemy movement reactions on the enemy profile card. So you may not move if you are in base-to-base combat with an enemy. You may move through friendly models but not enemies. This all sounds quite self-explanatory. You may move through ambush, objective and spawn markers, but you may not stand on them. Now it's showing there that that's moving round. How do you measure round? We just sort of gauge it a little bit. That's interesting. I want to know how you do a curve. But here we go. So this is the bit that I really enjoyed. Bend the tape measure. Well, I suppose you could do that, but obviously you have cardboard markers to dictate the movement in this game, don't you? So anyway, so here we go. Dynamic movement. This is what I did enjoy. So we got leaping and we got swimming, because the Drowned Earth had an element of sort of parkour to it, which I thought was really good fun, because it's one of those games where when you've built lots of scenery for it, you've got multiple levels to the scenery, and I really enjoyed that. We do have the video of our live session on the YouTube channel. It'll obviously be a while ago, so go and check that out if you want to see our live game from a while back. Shooting, we like shooting. Shooting's always good. You may declare a shoot action versus an enemy model within line of sight. And range of your weapon. To shoot, you will make an attribute test using your marksman attribute. Alright. The targeted enemy will react to this shot, so this will be an opposed roll. So let's see what it explains. So enemies without range, compare the enemy die result to their agility attribute. If you win, you inflict damage. If the enemy wins, you missed. So it's just a case of, yep, your marksman attribute versus their dodge. That's it. Let's see if I can... So in fact, just looking at the card here, there's marksman for a score of 7. You know, I'm gonna do this right here and now. See, we can learn how to do this. So here we go. And in fact, it is actually talking here. Most dice rolls are what we call attribute tests. For example, you're trying to shoot a dinosaur 6 inches away by testing your marksmanship attribute, which is a 7. So to pass is roll equal or under your attribute on the green die. Nail it, roll equal or under your attribute on both the attribute die and the feat die. I'm going to do this right now. Let's see. This, of course, could be my one lucky roll. Let's see if I can do this. So I need to get 7 or less on both of these dies, which would mean I nail it. Let's see what we get. This is why I don't play games with dice. Oh my goodness. All right. Ultimately, well, it's a 9 on the green dice, so I basically fail. And then it's a 10 on the feat dice. That is me completely and utterly missing. But essentially, my marksman is more like a stormtrooper than an actually good marksperson. Oh, okay. Let's not roll any more dice live on the channel. Okay. But that's it. You basically just have to roll under your your marksmanship. Now, it does say if the target enemy has a ranged weapon, they will shoot back. So compare the enemy die result to their marksmanship attribute. Now, where does it say that? The target enemy will react to this shot, so this will be an opposed roll. See dice rolls in the getting started. And you'll add the enemy die to your roll. So let's just have a look at that. Here we go. Ah, here we go. Enemies don't usually stand around only. Yeah, okay. So as well as rolling the attribute and feat dice, you will add the enemy die too if the enemy is also trying to roll equal or under their attribute. But since they only roll one single die, they'll only ever pass. But the enemy die also has a special symbol called Frenzy. The best result wins, and only the winner will perform their action or reaction, even if the loser rolled a successful result. Right, okay. So a nailed it will be a pass. A feat will be to nailed it. Oh, okay. So what happens if you both pass? Right, so let's just have a check on this. Let's give it another roll. Gosh. Okay. I still don't hit. I've got 8s. This does not bode well for our live play, does it? Okay, so I would absolutely lose, but then the enemy die has rolled a 10, so in fact they would lose as well. So we are all just terrible marksmen. No good at all. The marksman is shooting away. You roll a 5, the frenzy on a 7. I mean, you've passed 5 high. So enemies always win ties. Oh, not good. Not good. We have close combat, which again is an attribute test, but using obviously your close combat attribute. Charge. Charge is a special action which combines both the movement and close combat in a single action. Charging confers a +1 CC modifier to the charging character. Enemies do not charge and so do not benefit from this bonus. That's quite cool. So enemy reactions versus movement. So this is what it referred to before. The reactions we have seen so far are opposed dice rolls, but enemies react to other things too, and the nature of this reaction will differ from enemy to enemy. So these reactions refer to the enemy profile card to see how they react, but unless otherwise specified, the target will always be the active model. These reactions work in the same way as enemy actions and can be viewed in the enemy phase section. So player movement will trigger a reaction if, during any part of their movement, they enter the movement range stated on the enemy profile card, between 5 and 8 inches. Move the player model first, then make any dice rolls or opposed rolls required by the player action, then resolve movement reactions in an order of your choosing. Right. So, in the above example, the toughest declared a charge action. 3 dinos have a passive ambush marker ready nearby, so we should measure the range to the tough's movement pass. The ambush marker is just within 5 inches. This means the charge action will trigger a flip action as the range of their movement reaction is 5. The dinos have a movement of 8. The leftmost will be out of range, while both the center and right are well within range, so the charge action will trigger a shoot reaction from both of them. However, the central dino cannot draw a line of sight, so it will do nothing, because it's blocked there. That's interesting, I like that. it definitely sort of starts to give you that idea of that the jungle is alive, and that you're certainly, everybody's aware. You're trying to sneak through this jungle, but everybody's aware that you're there. Noise reactions. So there we go, yes. Someone uses a weapon with the noise weapon effect. So if you fire off a loud weapon, that will then draw in enemies. Not good. And then we have other actions. You can rest, which allows you to heal up to 2 wounds. You can interact with objects as the scenario requires. The recognize action can be used to ambush markers. Used against ambush markers. You'll be able to reveal them. And then revive. When a character is down due to losing all of its wounds, another character may perform a revive action, which will allow it to stand back up at full health. So already within a couple of pages, we're pretty much got a good grip of how the game plays. But then we come into some of the other abilities, the focus. We have the focus abilities, power. So this obviously gives us a little bit more to the actual characters. Some of their special abilities. The power tokens represent your ability to focus on the task at hand, pull off special moves, abilities, and get in the zone. So when we begin the game, we'll have no power tokens, but during the course of your adventure, you will earn 2 power tokens of different colours. At the start of each scenario, they will be placed on the 0 spot of your power track and move up during the start phase. Ah, okay. So as these move up, we have abilities and we can spend these points to be able to use those abilities. Because, of course, we're the heroes, aren't we? We're supposed to be able to do things that ordinary people can't. That gives us a little bit of an advantage. Okay, so then we go to for once the player phase is done, and again, that pretty much within, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Within 5 pages, that's all the player actions. Everything that we can possibly do. We then move on to the danger phase, and this is where we look at the heat deck to see if there are any special instructions that we need to resolve, or if any flip conditions have been met. So we'll go into more detail on that, but this is basically where the story element of the game and the actual events that are happening in the scenario are sort of dealt out. Once we've done that, we go to the enemy phase, and this will be controlled by the AI deck. And again, many of the actions will be relatively similar to the players, but of course the AI deck is basically telling us what each of the enemies is going to do given the circumstances. So we have movement. We'll determine which where we will move to which closest, I suppose, the hero in this instance. Gives us different colour coding on what types of terrain we can go through. Movement targets, reactions versus enemy movements. And then close combat. Of course, dinosaurs, it's lots of bitey-bitey. Whereas the pirates, they can do the shooting. We have some general principles here, ambush markers, damage, base to base. We're learning a little bit more about the game. But that actually, so we've had the enemy section, and then basically, is that it? Yes, because we've moved on to, so then it's cleanup. So in the cleanup phase, you tidy up the play area and reshuffle decks. So there you go. we've pretty much gone through the entire game there. I do think it'll be one of these games where once you've played it, or a couple of rounds, you start getting into the swing of it. It all becomes self-explanatory. This is good because it now gives you more detail if you want to, if you have questions to start sort of drilling down into some of the larger aspects of the game, which of course bodes well then should you decide you want to move on and actually play the Drowned Earth miniatures game, because all of this is relevant there. So again, it's a nice introduction. Some lovely artwork. And then this is the Drowned Earth AI conversion rules. So if you're already playing the Drowned Earth but you want to be able to have AI dinos, this basically guides you through. So that's the rules. So I will be sitting down and reading these fully, and then actually having my first game over the weekend. So looking forward to that. I'm going to have to be careful on this because, of course, we don't want to give out any spoilers. As I said right at the start, this is a campaign game. There are 10 sort of stages, but it is a branching storyline, so it depends on your actions where the story goes. This first part is pretty much how to sort of set up, understanding putting your sort of scenario together. Difficulty settings on altering how the actual game plays, how tough a challenge you want. And then your campaign log. I think you can download this from the website, so you don't have to mark it in the book. And then we have a bit of prologue. And we start the first scenario, which is landfall. So you can actually see here, this is the other side of the map. And this is the mission that I will play at the weekend, but will also play on the channel potentially next week. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to have our first live play of Ulaya Chronicles Raptor Claw Island next week. And you know, it doesn't look too bad. We got a few little dinos to take out. You know, because we've just found ourselves on the island. So should be okay. Should be fine. But we won't look any further because we don't want to spoil the story. So as you've seen, the game itself, let's just grab one of these. Oh. The game comes with obviously all of these wonderful standees, so you can quite happily play the game with everything that is in the box. But of course, viewers of this channel, you're all keen miniature painters. You want to see some minis, don't you? So there is a range of miniatures for you to basically swap out the standees within the game with actual physical miniatures. So these are the 4 heroes. Let's take a look. Okay, now you guys all remember that with Drowned Earth, they are metal minis. I actually think the packaging's fine, Lorna. I mean, we've got a nice image showing what these miniatures can look like when they are wonderfully painted by a studio artist. I think it's because some of the miniatures take up sort of more space because some of the packs are larger, so it's a sort of generic box for it. But the good thing about it is that it cuts down a massive amount on production, doesn't it? Means that it can be a little bit more affordable. So I don't mind the packaging as is. Hey, we've seen different styles of packaging on the channel, haven't we? So let's take a look. So who have we got here? See, I really need those cards open so I can identify. I can see the markswoman. I know where she is. There she is. But she hasn't got a head because her head. All that. Oh my gosh! It's like heads on a spike. Let's zoom on in. Let's bring this right all the way up here. There we go. Okay, I'll try and keep this steady. So we have the 4 heroes, all of their heads. Unlike with any miniature, they'll just need a little bit of cleaning for some of the flash. But of course we have our large, and I don't think they're called apes. I think they are. They do have a correct species name, which is different. But if it looks like a monkey, it's got to be a monkey, right? We got those, so let's find some appropriate bodies. That looks like a big ape body to me. And no doubt, no, actually, I can see, can't I? He has. So we have arms. Make sure I put these on one side. He's got the arm with the large shield. It's obviously been fashioned from metal that's been found. See, I do like it when miniatures come in sort of chunky multi-part. It just make it easier to paint, not as fiddly. We've got the reptilian character here. And I think he has one of the pistols. So he's got a, yeah. I think it's this arm here. So it's this pistol. And the other arm just here. Yeah, the detail's very nice. I mean, the detail on all the Drowned Earth miniatures have always been really good. Let's just take a look. Oh, we'll just do the... we definitely know she's the markswoman. Need to straighten that blade a little bit. And then on this sprue here, here's all the weapons. Who's got the double-handed axe? Or double-bladed axe? We've got the sniper rifle there, so we know who that one is. Got a crossbow. Like a crossbow. I want to know which one has the... Let's have a quick... I guess ultimately, once we take a look at the actual profile cards, we can determine who has the weapons. Because I don't think they've attached the bonus weapons. I assume that you put the weapons on their backs. So those are the heroes. And obviously, you know, they can look amazing. Spend a little bit of time painting them up. The gun sights are a little off. Yeah, somewhat. Alright, let's put those away. So those are the heroes. But as much as we like the heroes, we want to see the dinos, surely. So I did point them out before. Let's see if we can say this correctly. Is that Sinoraptors? This is one thing I do like about the Drowned Earth, of course, as our understanding for dinosaurs. We realised that they probably had feathers, and the idea of scaly lizards becoming less and less. So I like how we've got these beautifully colourful, essentially reptilian birds. These guys look amazing. Oh. See if we can get one which is all complete. There we go. Oh yeah, look at him. Oh, I need another half. Hang on a second. Hang on. Let's find the other side. Oh, there we go. There we go. How's that? I think this is going to be the alpha. So the actual dinos themselves come in different, I suppose, different ages, basically. So you can have juveniles, then you have adults, then you have, I think it's the elite, and then it's the alpha. So same type of dino, but it's just getting larger and more ferocious as it goes up the grading. I think you could have a lot of fun painting this up. Again, lots of nice bright colours. None of these muted greens and browns. So we have some of the smaller ones. Let's find a smaller one. In fact, Oh, has that got... Yeah, okay, I can see how that works. Trying to find one which is complete. Yeah, basically, they have one side, their wings are clipped on one side. You got quite a few of these smaller ones. And then finally, I might have to get something to open this one up. So we have Baryonyx, Queen of the Swamp. Let's see if we can open this carefully. There we go. Now this is actually a resin miniature. Have I got everything? Yep. Let's see if I can put this together. So that's going to go just there. And we got a tail. Goes on in there. And then we have a bit of jaw. Goes on in there. There we go. How's that? That's enough to terrify you. Oh, losing a tail. That's Baryonyx. There you go. Yeah, no, it's a nice mini. Just a little bit of work. Oh, I missed out. There's an arm on the other side. Doesn't seem as hopeless as the T-Rex, which is definitely a positive. Oh, make sure I get everything back into the bag. Okay. So, there you go. That's basically a quick, brief overview of Ulaya Chronicles Raptor Claw Island. As I say, I'll be playing at the weekend and then sharing with you guys next week. Obviously, there is opportunity for you in the chat to basically help me try and beat the scenario, so you guys can take control of one of the heroes. by that time I will have gone through the rules and should be able to explain them to you quite easily. And it seems simple enough, you know. It's like any other sort of skirmish-based game. As far as, you know, you want to basically move out of the way of stuff and shoot stuff. How hard can it be, hey? But what will be interesting is seeing how the AI deck works and seeing how the sort of scenario effects come on into play. I think that's going to be the interesting bit. Well, Roger, I hope that you might be free next week to, as I say, from the chat, to guide one of the heroes. We've got 4 of them, so it'll be good to get some input from you guys. So there we go. You plan on being here? Excellent. Oh, good stuff then. Well, there you go. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it might be on Tuesday. Things are a little bit fluid at the moment. So there could be a swapping of days, swapping of what we're actually doing. But we'll be showing the game as soon as possible. As I say, I will play it the weekend, get a good grips of it, and then we'll try and get it onto the channel as quickly as possible before I forget. Forget how to play. Because then, of course, I've got another game to learn how to play. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we'll wrap it up there then. So, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Look forward to seeing you next week. But until then, bye for now.